Thank you for taking a few minutes to join us today. The purpose of this short presentation is just to take you through what a manual order process on the TruDiligence system looks like. So we'll dig right in. Basically, once you've authenticated on the system with your username and password that were provided, you're going to be parked at this home screen showing you basic controls for your account. In order to put a manual order in the system, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over ordering and I'm going to just simply click on online order. And that is going to take me to the basic online order process that you will use to get an order in the system. So once I arrive on this screen, basically it opens up to me the first section of this page, which is packages and products. And from this packages and products panel, you basically have a drop-down list where you can pick the package of services that you want to have ordered on this subject. Keep in mind that these packages can be customized at the account level, and those packages can be called anything you'd like to have them called, and they can contain any combination of services that you'd like to have included in that package. Obviously, as this is a demo account, it has a lot of different package types that are programmed on it, but I'm just going to show you a national basic. If I click national basic, you'll see what that does down below in the individual searches that are available. It has pre-identified and pre-selected the services that are available into that package. Those required searches in this package cannot be removed. That's something to notice, is that it will not allow me to remove these because they are forced by the package. I can certainly add to the base package if I'm interested in doing so by simply placing check marks next to the other items I want to include in this package. But in terms of the basic searches, the foundational searches are required. And then you'll notice as I pick a different package off of this list as available packages, my screen down below simply changes, and the searches that are forced in that package obviously would be pre-selected and required. And so from this moment, basically at this stage, all you're wanting to do is just pick the correct package that you want to have run on this particular subject. One of the things that I'll mention here as well is every account also has an a la carte option. In the a la carte option, basically it opens up the full ordering menu of all of the services that are available to your account on the system, and it will allow you to basically just in an a la carte fashion pick and choose the searches that you want to have included in this individual's background check. So your options here are always to choose a predefined package, or if you need to use the a la carte package, then that is always available where you can just pick and choose the services that you want to have included. So just for demo purposes, I'm going to just pick the national basic. Okay, so I have picked the national basic. These particular services are what are included in that particular package. And when I scroll to the bottom, I'm going to continue to the next step. So when I continue to the next step, something that's important to recognize on this page, that's just a little bit of a design tip in the background, is this page basically is designed using multiple sections within a single page. And so when I continue to the next step, after I move off of packages and products, what it's done is it has folded that up. I could still click on that to reopen that if I need to, or I can minimize it back, or I can reopen the subjects panel. And so I think it's important to recognize there that what you're doing is you're staying on the same page. You're just moving through the sections on this page until they've all been addressed and the basic information that's needed for these particular searches has been addressed. So in my subject section, I'm going to do just a couple of things. I'll just supply some basic information here. On this screen, you'll notice some color coding. The red pink fields are required. The white fields are optional. So I need to, at a minimum, I need to address the red fields with the information that that particular field is requesting. And you'll notice as I tab or move off of one of the red fields, it will turn white, knowing that the system has acknowledged that you have made an adequate entry into that box. Okay, so I'm going to come down to the social. And I'm going to leave it 1 digit short. And I'm going to try to move off of that. it'll let me move off of that field and go ahead and go on to the next fields, but you'll notice the Social Security number field has not turned white yet. It's because in my data entry, I'm short 1 digit, and the system knows what a standard Social Security number should be formatted like. And so once I go up and I meet that formatting requirement and I move off, it will now turn white, okay? So I will continue just going on with some test information here. Got an address lookup that's running in the background. As you begin typing addresses, it will do a lookup of a post office database in the background and allow you to select the address that matches your subject, should there be a match there. Otherwise, I can just continue moving on down the screen. And when I get to the zip, once I put the zip code in, when I tab off the zip code, it will automatically pre-fill for me the city and state. That's a little bit of a hidden feature in the background, that is. 80127 happens to be in Littleton, Colorado. So that has been pre-filled. I can certainly rewrite these or change these values in the event that I need to, if the predefined ones are not correct. Next field, it wants to know what position what state the position is located in. And finally, my applicant phone number. Before I put the applicant phone number in, I'm just going to point out a couple of things. Just like our products and packages section, my continue to the next step button here is still red. And I still have an alert symbol up here on the top right-hand corner letting me know that there is something in this section that still needs to be addressed before I can submit this order. And so as soon as I get a valid phone number in there, and I tab off of that, you'll notice the control has now turned green, allowing me to move to the next step. And my alert symbol up here in the top right-hand corner of that section has also disappeared. So the system knows that I've completed everything in this section, okay? Again, the white fields are optional. The red fields are required. Your last probably important field to look at would be the FCRA purpose. This is a drop-down box in which the appropriate default for your account is going to be displayed there by default, but there is a list underneath of the permissible purposes that are allowed under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And so if for some reason this is not an employment by hire or contract, and this happens to be a tenant screen instead, I can obviously just change the selection in this permissible purpose box to fit the purpose of this particular background check. Again, that can be defaulted on your account as well, should you want a different value. Okay, so I'm going to continue on to the next step. Knowing what we learned just a few minutes ago, what this is going to do is it's going to fold up my subject section, and it's going to take me into the billing information. If I continue to the next step, that's exactly what it's done. It has folded up my subject section, and it's taking me into the billing section. You'll notice that the controls on this particular box are already green, and that is because this is not a required field. So I'll take just a moment to describe how this is used. If you've got a value or some sort of data that would be helpful to be tracked on your particular order, and have that value, like a reference value or a reference number or a cost code or a departmental number, and you'd like to have that tracked through the system and have it display on your result report, on your status reports, and also within your itemized billing documents, this is a free form entry field where I can type anything here that I would like. And that billing identifier reference number will attach to this order, and it will be displayed and tracked throughout the system in all places where that is available. And so if that is useful to you, certainly make use of this field. It, however, is not required. And so if you are not using the billing identifier options, then you can simply continue to the next step. Again, that has folded up the billing information. The requester information is also already green and ready to be moved beyond. You'll notice here that your name, being the requester's name, and the phone number are already pre-populating into these boxes. The only reason that you would even have need to do any editing here is if for some reason that requester's name or phone number needed to change. Assuming that you're just going to accept the system defaults, you can go ahead and just continue to the next step. Continue to the next step finally will bring me to the last bar, being authorized and continue to the order review. On this box, essentially, is all of the regulatory language that needs to be agreed to at the time of the order, and this is displayed on each and every order. And so what you're doing by checking this box is you are certifying that you are in compliance with federal regulations as it applies to your background check process, and all of those regulations, at least in terms of placing an order and using the background check reports, are laid out on this screen. Okay. So from here, again, I have addressed everything here that needs to be addressed, and I now have a green button allowing me to continue and move forward. Okay, just a couple of controls here that I'll point out before I move on to the next step, or actually just one for that matter. Under the subject section, I think it's important to know that there is functionality in the background that if this order that you're replacing based on the name and or social security number appears to be a possible duplicate, you'll be notified of that right here within the subject section. Because I've used this data previously, it is recognizing that to be a duplicate within the system, and it is giving me the warning here that this might be a possible duplicate. So obviously there are times that you will need to do duplicate orders because you're doing a rescreen on somebody or an annual screen or things of that nature, or just updating searches on an existing subject. And so the duplicate warning is not anything that's going to cause you not to want to move forward with the order. But if for some reason you see the duplicate there and you don't understand that this is going to be a duplicate order, then at least you've been notified of that, and you can stop your order process at this point and go back and review that order on the system to determine whether or not you do need to go ahead and move forward with another order. So we do help you there in trying to avoid unnecessary billing costs and charges by placing duplicate searches that are not necessary. Okay. So I'm going to scroll to the bottom. I'm going to continue here to the next step. What this does now is it brings me to a screen showing me my order recap. And so the first box up here is basically showing that we can either submit or save this order. The order total for this particular demonstration is $9.99. And based on the historical processing of these searches, it should be done today, which happens to be April the 19th. Okay, again, we've got a warning again here that this may be a possible duplicate within the system. And I can either save the report for later, I can go back, or I can submit this order now. Before I go back and or submit, I want to just show you the couple other things here on this screen. Obviously, I can expand my subject information down, and I can review the information that has been provided in the subject section of the order. I can also look at the order information to confirm the items that are going to actually be included in this order in case I need to make changes. And finally, I can see a breakdown of how the system arrived at the billing cost of $9.99. I think this is pretty user intuitive here, that you can see that it is the national basic package, which is billing at $9.99. Included in that package is a social security number address trace at no additional cost, and the National Criminal Sex Offender OFAC that is also at no additional cost because it's included in the package. I'll just mention here that if you get to this screen and you see something within the billing that you don't understand or don't think is correct or might be abnormally high for some reason, then I would recommend that you give us a call before you submit this order so that we can help you identify what might be causing any variances there from what you're expecting. Once you submit the order, the searches go in process immediately, and it is difficult for us to change or edit or stop searches once you've actually got them submitted, because there's an immediate processing that starts on those in the background. So if you see anything unusual on this screen before you submit the order, certainly give us a call real quick or do a live chat with us. And that live chat control is available down here in the bottom right-hand corner. And we'll be happy to help you out before you actually submit the order. So from here, I'm going to do one thing before I actually submit to show you one additional function on the system, and that is to go back. So if I click on go back, what you can envision here is the system is basically taking me back one screen, and it is showing me my subject information and everything that is being compiled on this order. One of the things that I think is neat on the system is it's not locked at this point. So if you get to the confirmation screen and you realize that there's an order that you intended to place on this particular subject and you had failed to do so, all you have to do is go back. And as I talked about earlier, you can add to this order at any time that you'd like to in this process. So say, for example, I want a motor vehicle record on this person and I forgot to include it. I can come back and I can include that. And you'll notice over here in my requested searches section, it has now ordered a motor vehicle report, which is red, meaning that it has items that need to be completed in order to be processed. And if I scroll down this screen, you will now find the red indication under the motor vehicle driver's record with the fields that are necessary in order to run that driver's history. In this case, it's the driver's license number and the state of which that driver's license has been issued in. Again, the system is very dynamic, that if I go back to packages and products, and let's say I wanted an employment verification on this person and had forgot to put that in, I can add that. And if I scroll down, it's now added an employment verification section in, and it understands the both optional and required fields that are necessary in order for us to conduct an employment verification. So just remember that you're staying basically on a single screen and you're adding to or removing from that screen the searches and the details for those searches that you want to have included. Okay, and that can be done at any time up until you click on submit. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the employment verification off of there, and I'm going to go back down, and anytime I have made any changes to the order, I have to go back and I have to re-acknowledge the regulatory statement and continue to the next step. And I am again right back where I was originally with a $9.99 order that is due today on April the 19th. So from here, all I'm going to do is submit the order. So when I click on submit now, you will find that I get to an order screen here that just says, thank you, that the order for Jerry Demo has been placed today, and the order number is 673149. From here, there's only one other control on this screen, and that would be if you have reason or desire to want to archive any documents with this particular order so that they're stored on the system with this order. You can click on this box, and it will basically pull up a file browser where you can pick the items that you want to have attached to this order, and you can actually insert those into the order, and they will be available under the documents bar within the order. One other thing that I will just simply mention here with regards to release forms is if you're placing orders for searches that have a specific release form requirement, the system will prompt you to go ahead and upload those orders, or rather those documents, at the time of order so that they can be attached with the system. I didn't include any searches in this particular demo that have that requirement, but it's something that you will see on the confirmation page before you submit the order, the review page before you submit the order, that if there are any documents that the system understands are required, it will give you prompts and instructions directly there for how to address those searches. So that basically shows you a pretty quick rundown of the manual order process. I would also encourage you to take a look at our companion video that describes the applicant quick invite process. And what that will do for you is it will show you from your home screen the way we can help you automate the order entry process over and above the manual process I just showed you. So if you would like to understand the automation that can lay on top of that, that provides functionality to send a link to the applicant either by email or text message, and have the applicant do all of the data entry on all of the orders, then check out our companion video on how to place an order through the applicant quick invite process, and it will take you through the widget that is available on this page right here, which would be your alternative to doing a manual order. Okay, well, thank you for joining us today. If there's anything that we can help with going forward, certainly reach out to the support department and we'll be happy to help you out.